What's up YouTube, Card Boys here, back in the video where I talk about cards, money, investing. Today we're going to discuss the 2020-2021 X-Men Metal Precious Metal Gem Green, right? There has been a lot of talks about what's going on with the Marvel PMG market as a whole, right? Referring to the 2013 to the 2017 PMGs where prices are sliding, people are talking about market is crashing and all that, alright? Whatever the story is happening on that one, we'll leave that for another video and for other people to talk about it. Today, I'm specifically talking about PMG greens and what do I see happening in the market and whether or not is there any investing opportunity. So those are the points I'm going to discuss today. But first and foremost, a bit about the set, right? So 2020 X-Men Metal was released sometime last year, and it was kind of a bit lukewarm, in terms of reception, right? Because I mean, the anticipation was high, but when the cards came out, right, there were a lot of quality issues. I think the colorings on the PMG reds will look more pink than actually red or peach, I guess. And the greens, right, I mean, they were out of 10, but the lineups are huge, right? So unlike the previous years for PMGs, right, it was like kind of like an insert set, right? So like for example, in 2013 and 2015 there were 42 cards, right? In 2017 there were 50 cards, whereas in this card it was kind of this set 2020 X-Men Metal is kind of like the parallels, and with a base checklist of 200 cards, is a huge checklist, right? So obviously the main characters like Wolverine, there are I think 3 versions of Wolverine or 3 or 4 versions of Wolverine. They're kind of still popular, right? And then of course there are other X-Men characters as well, like Gambit, Deadpool, and of course like Scarlet Witch. So all these characters remain popular, but of course, as you can see here, there are a lot of other characters as well. I can see here Toad, right? So, and then what else do we have here? So we have this is Master Mole, and then we have Sebastian Shaw, and many others, right? Okay, so but what do we notice, right? We're actually talking about PMGs coming down in general. Like a lot of, I think in my last videos when I covered the Golden auction, we had several PMG blues for that matter, right, in PSA 7s or PSA 8s, right, ending on like, just like the $1,000 over range. And here we are with PMG greens. No doubt they're numbered out of 10 for kind of, I would say, not unpopular, but not very famous characters, right, going for like 800 bucks, yeah, 700 bucks, 800 bucks. So what's going on, right? So there is, I wouldn't say a rumor, but there is some talk that there are a couple of collectors here. They are set chasing, right? 2 collectors, I believe. They're trying to pull together this massive endeavor. So like I said, it's a 200 card checklist. It's not an easy feat to try and complete the set, but no doubt it's going to be amazing when it's actually done. And we have seen completed sets for PMG Red for this X-Men Metal, and they were previously selling for about $20,000. I think that number is probably higher now, given that the Wolverine and Scarlet Witch prices has gone up just a fair bit. And maybe I would say like a complete set for 2020 PMG Red was probably around the 30-35k kind of range. So that being numbered out of 100, and this is being out of 10, so you would expect something like 9 or 10 times the value. So a complete set is worth about, I would say, about maybe 250k to 300k, just extrapolating the numbers, right? Is that really the case? Let's explore here. So you can see some of these latest eBay sales in the month of April, right? So going on average about like 700 bucks, 800 bucks for all these I would call them unknown characters, right? And it's really surprising, right? Even though you're number out of 10, it's paying like 800 bucks for a card that's literally for a character that nobody knows pretty well, except for those people who are very familiar with the X-Men universe. It's kind of surprising to see like here, $1,000 here for Sage, right? So it's just a lot of money, right? Even though it's a PMG greens, but I get it if you're a collector trying to piece together this set, so you are just setting a kind of like a limit, between $500 to $1,000 to pick up whatever remaining pieces that you have, except for those main characters, which obviously you need to pay a bunch more. So that's pretty much happening for these 2 collectors, right, chasing up. Now, the problem I see here is some other people looking into this on what's going on with these PMG greens are starting to get excited, right? They're looking at all these these PMG greens are actually on an upward trend. You see you have here Havoc and with Danger, it's like $1,000, $1,500, right? These are going up. Is it worth investing and stuff like that? But because, like I said, it's likely that the prices or the completed sales here are generated by just two different collectors, and they're willing to pay a certain amount of dollars, right, to acquire these pieces in the set. And once they have those pieces, they're kind of like not going to be looking for them anymore. And I foresee that for a lot of these characters that you see completed here, even if the next copies actually come to market, it probably won't fetch these kind of pricings, especially the ones that's above $800 to $1,000. So beware if you are actually you're planning to invest in any of these PMG greens, right, for the purposes of trying to resell later on, because given that there's only out of 10, right, chances of completing 2 sets, I think 2 sets is still manageable, but coming to 3 sets, that's going to be a bit hard, right, especially on the bigger characters, right. It's easy to pull up all these small characters later on, but to try and get the bigger characters, a third copy of bigger characters without really paying serious dollars, I think that's pretty challenging. So a lot of you, if let's say you are not in that goal of trying to complete the set yourself, picking up all these pieces later on, especially using this reference $800 or $1,000 as comp references, might be a little bit tricky and something that you may want to consider staying away from, right. I like the PMG greens, right. The at one point 2013, 2015, and to some extent 2017, PMG greens were like a lot, commanding like $10,000, $15,000. It depends, because those are essentially pretty rare. You can't actually buy those packs anymore. Yes, you could, but the chance of getting those PMG greens are pretty slim. These X-Men Metal were on e-pack for quite a fair bit of time, and a lot of them were actually open in those packs. So therefore, there is a lot of these, floating in the market. And like I said, 200 card checklist, right? So there's a lot of PMG greens obviously in circulation, right? To find the main characters like the Wolverine, the Scarlet Witch, the Deadpool, you don't see that come as often, right? So like you see here, Scarlet Witch selling for 4,700. Expensive, perhaps, but it's justified given that she's one of the key characters that's in this set, and it's one of the nice looking arts as well for her. So, I think that if you're going to buy into PMG greens for this particular set, you probably need to be focusing on those main characters, the Scarlet Witch, the Wolverines, because whether is it today or whether is it next month or maybe next year, those are the ones that perhaps will still hold its value or maybe increase in value as compared to investing in characters like the Sunspot here or Forge here, or Toad, right? These are no doubt they are PMG greens, no doubt they are numbered out of 10, but I just don't see any potential longevity in this value, except that if maybe a third or fourth person trying to pull together a set, but the chances of that, usually I don't cater or don't project for that kind of possibility. So the safe route will be just to stick to the PMG greens for the main characters if that's where you want to go for this PMG greens, and I would definitely stay away from these. Even if a good deal presents to you, let's say for example here Sebastian Shaw 385, if another Sebastian Shaw came up, is going on, let's say 350 or 400, kind of like roughly around comps, I would definitely probably stay away, right? That the market for Sebastian Shaw is just not there, and the market for potential another set collector besides the first two that I just mentioned is probably remote as well. Alright, that's all I have for today. Just a quick one talking about PMG greens. Do check out this next video coming up, and stay tuned for it. Like and subscribe. Talk to you guys soon. Cabos out.